Goodbye snow, hello rain, transit, 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 transit phase. Today's another case of I can't surprise you with anything exciting because you already know what's about to happen. At this very moment, I don't actually know what I'm coming to see properly. All I know is it's a Rover 800. I don't know what its condition or its colour or whether it's a salvageable car or a breakup. And it's not me who's organising it. It is our friend, the man Mansley. The last two junctions on the M62 have those deformable crash barriers at the junction, so you don't basically ruin your face, just your car, and you're safe. And both of them were mashed, which proves two things. The first one is that they work, and the other is that people will crash into them. So I wonder why they haven't replaced them. I'm very surprised to have got as far as the M61 without seeing any kind of crash anywhere yet, because it always happens. You get some rain, some standing water, and it's almost like people think, it really is time we went out for a crash. It's the perfect opportunity, don't you think so? I once saw this film called Crash. It was a rather unusual film about people who got aroused by having car crashes, or the injuries on display, on offer, whilst having a car crash. It was kind of curious. They should remake that film in this country, it'd be easy. People love a crash in Great Britain. Look behind, you can see the car is on the back, and you'll also be able to spot that it's got a grille. And that means it's a facelift Rover 820. And besides the few bits missing off of it and the mould everywhere, the fact it's been stood for about 3 years, it looks like quite a nice car. And I shall declare this car Project Derek.
Turn left onto...
Having liaised with Craig and that other chap there, I've got a fairly good idea of the future of this car. Do you know, liaised, I hate the word liaised. I don't know why I hate it. In fact, I can't even think of another occasion where I've used the word liaised in the past. And I refuse to use the word liaised ever again. So what was I saying before I got annoyed by the word liaised? I said I wasn't going to use that word again. Right, that's the last time. Still haven't got to the point, have I? I got distracted by that truck now.
In 300 yards, turn right onto West Horton Road, A6.
Got distracted by that. Yeah, so I can't remember what I was going to talk about at all now.
Turn right onto...
MG midget, MG midget, MG midget, yeah. You see, for me, everything is a distraction. That's it, this car, the fate of this car. Unfortunately, many parts have already come off of this car, and the parts that it does have that don't work are the rare ones that you can't get hold of. Plus, there appears to be quite a bit of a corrosion issue, so it would need quite a heavy investment to get this car back into service again. So, porridge. Its fate is therefore most likely decided. Parts. However, that is ultimately better than what the assumption most people will have when they see this car on the back of my truck when it's covered in green and stuff. It's not going for scrap, and that's where it would be otherwise. Not for this motor. No, all those bits well kept. Almost every single bit. Most of it, the stuff that isn't worthwhile keeping, won't be kept. coping with a big Rover 820 on the back. It doesn't feel any different to what it would do with a 25. Put down and it just picks up and goes. I'm starting to like this truck a bit. Having said that, the 800 isn't as heavy as you think it would be. For such a big old barge, it's not as heavy as the 75, for example. It probably weighs less than an Audi A3. I think we need to have a closer look around this car. So, green stuff everywhere, that can be washed off. Aftermarket wheels and crusty sills. Crusty, more crusty. The seats are out of a Rover 75. There's a few bits missing here and there from the dashboard, under the dash and around the gaiter. Headlining intact, that's a nice, oh, sun visors missing. Door cards, quite nice. 820 SI, no mileage issues, decent enough, no fuel filler neck. 2 litre T-Series engine, all intact, besides the battery missing. There doesn't appear to be anything gone out of there. Looks like some sort of thermostat, extra thermostat. Bonnet catch missing. It's a nice looking car. Pity about those wheels. Almost everything has potential for recommission. So what about this car? Well, for a start from my brief inspection there, it is going to need some wheels because those ones don't actually fit properly anyway. It's going to need the brakes overhauled, it's going to need the sills welding back up, it's going to need the exhaust probably replacing because that doesn't look too good. It's going to need quite a few bits of missing things sourced and replaced. It's going to need the ABS issue sorted out. Need to get to the bottom of why it doesn't start. I also noticed there wasn't any coolant in the expansion tank, so why is that? That's just the start. If I was to get this car off the back of the truck tomorrow and have a dabble and try to find out why it doesn't start, then that might give me an idea. But the can of worms has to be opened. Yes, the can of worms has to be opened in order to find out how many worms are in that can and whether you can eat them or not. Snow. The snow. Do you think it makes the place look lovely? Like a magical wonderland of winter? Or do you think it's just a pain in the arse? And basically it's welcome as a crocodile in a phone box. Not to mention the logistical nightmare of actually going anywhere in it. Well, if you share my opinion and wish it would just sod off, then you'd probably go for option 2. I would. But then I also think that it is a magical wonderland. I think it's wonderful. I love it. It's so bright, it looks so cheery. But I also wish it would just go away now because I want to crack on with some work. Well, my plan was to move this here, over there, pull this apart as well, pull up Project Adam on the back of my truck and finish off the dismantling process properly. But now it looks like transit face is going to be needed for something else tomorrow. But the good news is transit face has started, look. That means the battery isn't goosed after all. Told you it'd be okay. You're going to follow me around everywhere today. What's my problem with Peugeot estate cars? Nothing. I don't have a problem with Peugeot estate cars. I used to have a 505 estate, that was cool. And the 405, also good car. And the 406 as well, good cars. Peugeot were well ahead of the game. So far ahead of the game, in fact, that they started making dreadful cars long before anybody else did. Just nipped to the garage next door to check my rear tyre pressures because the back tyres do have a habit of going down. And with there being two, I haven't got the right extension to do it myself. And usually, two of them have always gone really low. But this time, unusually, after many weeks not checking them, only one of them was low. Isn't that strange? Actually, I think I can figure it out. That kind of spoils the mystery. We like mysteries, don't we? We like things to be unexplained. For me, and I'm not the only one with this, I always enjoyed the shipping forecast on Radio 4 because I don't understand the terminology and I don't want to understand the terminology, and if anyone in the comments explains it to me, I won't read it.